Hello students, today's video is about class 8 CBSE, and in this video you are going to listen a very peculiar story in the form of a poem that is written by Ruskin Bond, and the title of the poem is Granny's Tree Climbing. You find it as chapter 2. Students, you might have seen your grandmother in your house cooking, grinding, smearing oil to the babies, sometime reading Ramayanas, or to the tasty grandfather and grandmother you might have seen watching TV or sometime running their fingers on mobile phones. But today you are going to listen the different and peculiar type of interest, that is, you will find this grandmother in this poem. The hobby of this grandmother is climbing trees. Really, a grandmother whose hobby is to climb tree, and not only hobby but the complete desire to climb a tree. Ruskin Bond is such a writer who always entertain children in his writing. Ruskin Bond has written many books for children. I read few lines about him, some dealing with his own childhood, others dealing with the lives of contemporary Indian children. Indian children. Bond spent his childhood at the grandparents' house in Dehradun, and that image you will find in this poem also. The poem Granny's Tree Climbing has been taken from An Island of Trees, his famous work An Island of Trees, which is a collection of short stories and poems dealing exclusively with bonds of love. So see how Granny in this poem climbs the tree. Before I start reciting poem for you, let us have some important ideas, the basic ideas about the poem. That is given in your question also. That the age when Granny started to climb the tree. It was since childhood, just she was 6 years old. 6 years old, and her habit was to climb the tree. And who taught? Who taught grandmother to climb the tree? And the answer is her brother. Brother and sister used to climb the tree, and thus she was in the habit till the doting age. This grandmother's age is 62. The age of grandmother, I repeat, is 62. And once she was forced not to climb the tree, so she felt that time that she was in hell. So when she could climb a tree, she would feel herself in the heaven. So much enjoyment she drew by climbing the tree. And we will find the author, her son, prepared a tree house for his mother, and there tea and coffees are being served. Thus, students, this poem is very interesting. I am going to read few lines for you, and you also enjoy reading it in your house. The lines run like this. My grandmother was a genius, not a dull one. My grandmother was a genius. You would like to know why? Because she could climb trees. The art of climbing trees she had, a spreading or high. So here the last line Y and high is rhyming. So rhyme scheme is A. I repeat, my grandmother was a genius. You would like to know why? Because she could climb trees, spreading or high, the giant trees. She would be up their branches in a trice, just in a second or few seconds. She could climb the trees up. She would be up their branches in a trice. And mind you, when last she climbed a tree, she was 62. And in the age of 62, she could climb the trees so fast. And these lines, at last, second line and third line, U and two words are there rhyming. So this is another rhyming scheme adding in AABB. Now we are going to CC. Another means the fifth and sixth lines are ever since childhood she would had this gift, means from childhood, since childhood she was in the habit of climbing trees, as I have told you earlier also, for being happier in a tree than in a lift. So again gift and lift is rhyming, and that gives you another set of rhyming scheme. Further lines are, and though as years went by, year passed by, drifted by, she would be told that climbing trees should stop when one grew old, and that growing old be gone about gracefully. She would laugh and say, she would laugh and say, well, I will grow old disgracefully, but I don't want to live climbing a tree. Dear students, lines are, I can do it better, and we had to agree. For in all the garden there wasn't a tree, there wasn't a tree she hadn't been up. Every trees she tried up. At one time or another means having learned to climb from a loving brother when she was 6, but it was feared by all that this is not the age to climb a tree because bones are weak, that much energy is not there. That one day she would have a terrible fall. That one day she would have a terrible fall. One, the outcome was different, but the result was different. While we were in town, she climbed a tree and couldn't come down. She is stuck there. And then, after the rescue from that tree, the doctor took Granny's temperature and said, I strongly recommend, doctor is saying, I strongly recommend a quiet week in a bed. And this 1 week not climbing of a tree was just an imprisonment for this granny. So thus students, lines and text, you go through it. These are very interesting. The final linings I would like to recite before you before I stop my talking with you. Made her a tree house. His son made her a tree house with windows and a door with full facility. So Granny moved up, and now every day I climb to her room with glasses and a tray. Glasses for milk or tea, either tea or milk or something, and tray for biscuits and other breakfast, etc. She sits there in a state. She sits there in a state means in grand style. In grand style, she is sitting there, being very happy, and drinks sherry with me. Here, sherry is a kind of wine that she enjoys. And you know that drinking wine is not bad in foreign countries as it is considered in India. And drink sherry with me, upholding her right to reside in a tree. To reside in a tree. So she was very happy. It was a paradise like situation there for Granny. So yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this Ruskin Bones piece of work, and You must go through the text, that is very interesting, and the rhyme scheme is also simple: A, B, B, C, C, and following like that. Thank you.